Hari Om. Continuing the commentary on Shloka 29, Gurudeva asks a question. Is this path of self-discovery available only for the good? Listen. Api chet suduracharaha bhajate mamananyabha sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. Api, even, chet, if, sudurachara, a very wicked person, bhajate, worships, mam, me, ananya bhak, with devotion to none else, sadhuhu, righteous, eva, verily, saha, he, mantavyaha, should be regarded, samyak, rightly, vyavasitaha, resolved, he, indeed, saha, he. Even if the most sinful worships me with devotion to none else or with single pointedness, he too should indeed be regarded as righteous, for he has rightly resolved. The practice of devotion, understood in its special meaning in which it is used in the Gita, is glorified here by indicating its effects upon each individual practitioner. In the Gita, bhakti is selfless contemplation with single pointed mind upon the non dual Brahman, considered as nothing other than the very essence of the devotee. As mentioned in the Swamiji's commentary on Viveka Chudamani in the Shloka 31, Moksha Karana Samagram Bhaktireva Gariyasi Swarupa Anusandhanam Bhaktir Ityabhidhiyate. When this bhakti is practiced for a sufficiently long time, with the required intensity and sincerity, the evolution in the individual is mapped out here, showing the various stages of its efflorescence. Ordinarily, there is a vague belief that a vicious sinner or a desperate criminal is an outcast who can never dare to enter the courtyard of the heavens. This immoral condemnation of the sinner is an unhappy misreading of the spirit of Vedic literature. No doubt the Vedas condemned the sin, but not the sinner. The evil eyes of the sinner are all expressions of the evil thoughts in his mind, and if the texture of the thoughts at present flowing in his mind could be changed, the texture of his behavior will also be transformed. The one who has come to keep consistently in his mind thoughts of the Lord in the warmth of his growing devotion, such individual accomplishes so total a rehabilitation of his mental life that he cannot therefore carry on his career in sin. Even if a wicked person worships me, the Gita not only throws open its gates to the sinners, but the singer of divine song also seems to have great missionary zeal to redeem all sinners and is anxious to bless them. Even those who are taken to evil ways are not debarred because of their actions and the impurity of their lives to enter the field of spirituality. The insistence is only that the worship of the self must be performed by the devotee with undivided devotion. Here, the term undivided, ananya, can be applied both to the mind of the meditator and to the goal meditated upon. On the whole, the phrase advises that the devotion can pay its promised dividend only when the devotee, with a single pointed mind, contemplates upon a goal that is non-dual and permanent. The non-dual self is not considered as different from the very essence of the devotee, ananya. He should be regarded as good, even though he had been till this day a man of evil ways, wicked and cruel, living the life of senses, uncontrolled and passionate. Even then, from the moment he has taken the path of contemplation with devotion upon the Supreme, he is to be considered says Krishna as saintly and good. Such a usage is common in every language. When we want to emphatically assert a state or a condition to be fulfilled in the immediate future. In all such cases, we claim it as a state accomplished, even in the present. Baking the bread, making the tea are all examples when, even while kneading the flour or boiling the water, we call these acts with a term indicating anticipatory fulfillments. Similarly, here, one has one who has taken to the path divine is called from the very moment as good and saintly, because he will soon, achirat, grow out of himself to thrive and flourish in the vaster atmosphere of his spiritual glory. Such an individual is to be considered good and divine, for, as Krishna puts it, he has rightly resolved. In the life divine, a right resolution is more important than mere routine practice. Majority of the seekers whip themselves up to plod on their paths, a melancholy brood, like famished cattle trotting their way to the meat market. Such a melancholy procession can reach nowhere but a butcher's block where time sits to hack them into pieces. The one who steadily walks the path with an iron heart of resolution, open eyed and enthusiastic, cheerful and heroic, is the one noted for success, and therefore the flute bearer emphatically asserts that the rightly resolved man of evil ways is to be considered from that moment of his noble decision as one especially marked out to be soon the most successful man of perfection. How do we know that what you're talking is not a bluff? What exactly is the effect of such a single pointed devotion? Chipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. Kshipram, soon, bhavati, becomes, dharmatma, righteous, shashvat, eternal, shantim, peace, nigachati, attains to, kaunteya, O kaunteya, pratijanihi, know for certain, na, not, may, my, bhaktaha, devotee, pranashyati, is destroyed. Soon he becomes righteous and attains eternal peace. O Kaunteya, know for certain that my devotee is never destroyed. The logical thoughts that lie behind the daring assertion made in the previous stanza, in its anticipatory assertion that even a wicked person, when rightly resolved, must be from that moment considered as good and saintly, from that daring assertion of Krishna are being indicated in this stanza. A man of evil ways, when he takes to life of a single pointed devotion, propelled by his ardent resolve that man soon becomes righteous. The term dharma was already explained in the opening of our commentary as the law of being. Just as heat is the specific quality or dharma of fire, without which fire cannot exist, dharma of man is the divine Atma in him, without which none of his personality layers can ever come to express of itself. Therefore, the term dharmatma in the stanza is not fully expressed when it is translated as man of righteousness. Single pointed devotion and self application develops concentration and therefore enhances the subtlety of reception of mind, and such a mind finds its balance even in the highest altitudes of its meditative flights. In good time, meaning long, he comes to gain glimpses of the infinite experience and thus comes to live more and more as a dynamic scent, wafting the fragrance of divinity through his motives, thoughts, and actions. The next stage would necessarily be then that he gets more and more established in this divine awareness of his own infinite glory and attains eternal peace. The term peace is one of the most bombarded and ill-treated terms, maximum used and little understood in our times. Peace is not the temporary cessation of the war condition, though we generally accept it to be so in the world. When one generation has torn itself torn into bits half the existing population. And in this effort, when the victorious half gets itself maimed and broken, shattered and crushed, ulcerated and oozing in their physical, mental, and intellectual layers, there comes a dull pause, laden with fatigue, wherein the victorious lie back to mourn for the dead and groan for its own ulcers. And this we have learned to call peace in the world. Religion has more sternly practical and vividly healthy valuation of life to meekly accept such a bleeding interval between two death dances as a satisfying goal of life. The peace that is indicated here is the inward peace, which is beyond the thunders and storms of life, which having gained, the individual comes to find himself ever in an oasis in the midst of deserts, ever in a harbor in the midst of storms, ever in bliss, even when nailed on a cross or torn into bits or made to face the smoky end of noisy gun. This subsequential edifice of peace, which strengthens and fortifies the existence in us, is the tranquility divine, which we come to live in as our essential being when the mind stops its mad revelry of its own agitations and excitements. There is no religion in the world which does not point out to this goal, experienceable when the mind is at rest. A still mind is an open window through which man peeps out to see himself reflected in the mirror of truth. The term guaranteeing here that a true devotee soon reaches the supreme peace is to be rightly understood as not the destination that lies far away from us, but that it is only a rediscovery in ourselves of our own true nature. The perfection indicated in religious lies only as far as away from us as our waking state is from our dreams. It is a question of rightly adjusting the focus. If a camera is out of focus, the photo snapped will give only a blurred representation of a fairyland, while the same scene photographed by the same camera, well focused and adjusted, gives us gorgeous beauty of with all details in the photo. A mind and intellect, maladjusted and incessantly getting shunted between the ever-rising waves of desires and passions, are not the right instruments to cognize and discover the truth that lies beneath the mind in the same bosom. The second line of the stanza brings out the incomparable missionary in Krishna, who seems to explode himself with his own rising fire and enthusiasm. After declaring the truth that even a man of dire evil ways can start his pilgrimage on the very days he takes unto himself the firm resolve to educate his mind, and after indicating the stages of his growth till he reaches the supreme peace, the wooer of gopis here, as it were, pats on the back of Arjuna and declares, boldly you can proclaim that my devotee is never destroyed. Somewhere down the sad annals of the recent Hindu history, this missionary zeal has been given up, and a cold stepmotherly attitude has come to be taken by the learned Pandita class, who have come to think that to confuse their followers is the noblest of their arts. We, as the children of the present age, are made to pay the highest penalties for the mistakes of the misguided past generation of unimaginative religious leaders. Earlier also, we found Krishna insisting that Arjuna should, without any reservation, declare to the world what he had understood. In the Upanishads, as referred in the Swamiji's discourses of Taittiriya Upanishada Shiksha Valli, Shlok 9 and 11, and also during the last lecture and on the convocation day, when the teacher bade for farewell to his students and let them out to live in the society, they were commissioned not only to live what they have been taught and to continue educating themselves, but also to preach what they knew and what they lived. As for the Swadhyaya Pravachana in Taittiriya Upanishada Shiksha Valli Shlok 9. Towing to the line with the spirit of Rishis, Krishna says that Arjuna should declare from the housetops the one unchallengeable truth that the seeker of the nobler values shall know no failure if his resolve is firm and he is sincere in his self-application. The special phrase employed here to declare Krishna's advice to Arjuna, Pratijanihi, has in Sanskrit its own special powers of assertion and can express a sort of imperative urgency. Those who are students of the Sanskrit language can easily perceive it. Those who are not may make a note of the same. In short, this and the previous stanza together express that one who has come to entertain constantly, at least at one corner of his mind, a continuous awareness of the divine principle and allows it to influence upon the rest of his mental field, he is the one marked out for progress and growth, both in his life within and in the life without. Just as a blue street light throws a pool of light, irrespective of the dresses that they wear, all gather upon themselves an extra blue tinge. So too, in the bright light of divine awareness, even criminal thoughts rising in the mind would gather the golden hue of godly perfection. Like the mothballs kept in the wardrobe protect all the clothes kept therein and keep away all the worms, so too, the constant smaranam of the divine nature of the self protects the human personality from the destructive worms of its inward negativities. Hari Om. Hari Om. As Gurudev has opened the commentary with the statement that is all this good things or the advices, are they only meant for good people or they are meant for even a commoner who thinks he is guilty, he is adharmi? Condition to know that I am maybe a sinner or adharmi presupposes introspection. For a person who is lunatic, everybody else calls him lunatic, but for he himself, he thinks he is normal. It doesn't dawn upon him that he is abnormal. So a person who thinks that I am a sinner, you must have seen many people going to temple and doing slapping on either of the cheeks, holding the ears in front of Lord. Somewhere the feeling comes that I haven't done what I should be doing and I have done that should not be done. Some element of remorse, some element of introspective awareness is what makes you feel that I have made some mistake. To such people, to immediately point to their faults and tell them to get lost because you have already committed a sin, is that the way? Or to them also to be told that don't worry, for you also there is salvation? On the first Ramakrishna Janmotsava, and there was no Belur Mutt, nothing. There was not even Ramakrishna's Asthi Kalasha was with Shashi Maharaj, Ramakrishnananda Maharaj, in the Linambar Mukherjee's garden. This was the second place where, after the Varahanagar Matha, all the disciples had come there. So far, there was no Vastu, there was no place to keep even Ramakrishna's Asthi. And on the first anniversary day, all the people, lot of people who knew Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his devotees, those who had listened about him, all of them came for a darshana. And all of a sudden, the Guru Bandhu of Vivekananda Maharaj came and asked Swamiji, 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 there are some prostitutes have come outside for the darshan of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and we told them, do not pollute this place. And in a fit of anger, Swamiji said that, you fools, allow them to come and take the darshan of Thakur. Although they were prostitutes, with full grace, with full dignity, they were asked to take the darshanam of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa by Swami Vivekananda. So meaning one thing is there, that in the Lord's presence, all are welcome. This is a great sigh of relief, an absolute avoidance of condemnation that is expected by such a person. But that puts two questions to us. How is it that one who has committed so many adharma or sin can get redemption? And not only that, he has done sins, suduracharo. That means heinous of the sins. So who is the one then? How is it that a blind person one day will see? He is blind. Is it a false hope given by the Bhagavad Gita? Apichet suduracharo, even if you have committed heinous crime. What is the basis for this? And the one who is already ingrained in doing wrong things, how one fine day he will start thinking, I will do good things? What is that which transforms a completely waylaid person to come on the right track? And do all such people come on the right track, or very few come on the right track? These are two fundamental questions. Sanskrit being the divine language, the shloka could have started as Duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. The one who is committing heinous crimes. No, it is preceded by apichet. Even if, now mind well, apichet and yet api, there is a difference. Yadyapi, yat api, even though, and apichet, even if. Even though and even if are different things. See, each word, this is a divine scripture. More we get into it, the language also gives happiness. The precision of the language gives us happiness. At the same time, the ability of the word in Sanskrit to carry the depth of the meaning, lakshanartha, all languages stand pale in the light of Sanskrit. Yadapi suduracharo, even though. Apichet suduracharo, even if. What is the difference? Even if is a person who has gone out of the track, although he was earlier on more or less right track. And even though the one who is constantly on the wrong track accidentally has come on the right track. To convert whole thing into Sankhya Tattva Jnana, the Rajoguni who had the flashes of Sattva Guna, even if, and even though Tamoguni who had a flash of Sattva Guna. Now from Tamoguna with a flash of Sattva Guna, difficult to move forward. Why? Tama has to be replaced first by the Raja, and Raja then can lead to Sattva Guna. So even though Yadapi is a Tamo to Sattva Guna, even if Apichet is for a Rajoguna to Sattva Guna. And Apichet Suduracharo, it's not the only condition that you keep doing wrong things and once in a blue moon come to Pandharpur or come to Haridwar or come to Varanasi and I will take care of you. God is not a garage mechanic to take care of your vehicle only when it is not well. Sadguru is not a washing laundry where you keep throwing your tunics which are dirty and get cleaned every time to be soiled again. No. Bhajate mam ananya bhak. There are two conditions. Apichet Sudhiracharo, I have committed sin when past birth, 10 births, 20 births, and I did, and Bhishmacharya killed a lizard or whatever that, all right, no problem. But right now, what Bhishmacharya is doing, Bhajate Ananya Bhak. And regarding Bhajate Ananya Bhag, Gurudeva has given a fabulous twist to Ananya Bhag, wherein Ananya, by definition, na anyam bhajati iti ananya bhak. Now, there are two aspects to the bhakti, a subject and an object. When get engaged in the art of contemplation through the strategy of concentration, which is called upasana, taila dharavat upasana vidhi, the subject is thinking only of the object. At that time, the subject is not subject to any other thing other than the object. And the object that he is attending to is the only object and not any other object. So there cannot be two objects, there cannot be two subjects or vyutthan of the subjects. This is coming closer to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra Dharana. Dharana is avoidance of the utthana. Vyuttana can be avoided provided the mind is as a subject focused on the Guru Pada or Vishnu Pada or a Shaligram or a Bhagavana Sri Rama Vigraha as an object. So much focused the subject is on the object that Surdas Maharaj focused on only Balakrishna, not the grown-up Krishna. No. That's why when he met Tulsidas ji, he said, Maharaj, आपके तो बड़े कृष्ण भगवान है, मेरा तो बालक भगवान है. Child Krishna, Bala Krishna. Once Bala Krishna is the object, Krishna only in that form. No other form, sir. Not even grown, no Mahabharata Krishna. No, no, no. Only Bala Krishna. Only Bala Lila. The object doesn't change, the subject doesn't change. That means Ananya word indicates mind of the meditator, as Gurudeva says, as one, and goal meditated upon also as one. What is the pariniti? What is the effect of such a thing? That which is only subject, when he contemplates through the strategy of concentration on only object, the consciousness of the subject slowly starts moving and transferring itself into the object. The subjective consciousness gets transferred to the object, and then the object, once it receives in toto the subjective consciousness, then suddenly the object becomes the subject. And when object becomes the subject, the original subject no more remains, because there cannot be two objects in Upasana. For Upasana, you require a subject and an object. When subject becomes an object, either there is only object left or only subject left, or there is only objectification of the subject. That means Deva pahavaya gelo, devachi hovini thelo. Tukaram Maharaj says, I went to see God and I did not realize that I became God. This is ananya bhak bhajate. So that sudurachari, just by occasional casual visits, no. Bhajate mam ananya bhak. And how will he master this art? To master this art is sattva guna. That means he has to leave durachar. I had a dirty tunic. तन की चुनरिया धुमिल मेरी हो गई, साई को कैसे रिझाइबे, कैसे सजन घर जाइबे. How can I reach the Lord's place with dirty clothes? The Lord says, come, no problem, come with your dirty words, but wash it. And while washing it, wash in such a way that it never will become dirty again. If this is the way it is going to work, then Suduracharo, one who has done this or started on this, Atyantam Duracharaha api naraha, yada prutaktvena devata antarbhaktim akurvan, mam eva bhajate, tarhi sadhu eva saha mantavyaha. Lord says, I or you also consider such a person as a sadhu, jivan mukta. So purification is not a right of a particular person's identification with caste, creed, age, or anything. I don't know Sanskrit, doesn't matter. I don't know Shastra, doesn't matter. I am a woman, doesn't matter. I am a man, doesn't matter. I am a Chandala, doesn't matter. King Gangambuni Bindite Ambara Manau Chandala Vithipaya Pure ch Antaram Asti Kanchana Gati Prutkumbha Yoryambare. He is the same light in everybody. Everybody. Lal Lal Sab Kahe, Sabke Palle Lal. गाठ खोल देखा नहीं तो या से भया कंगाल. Everyone is a consciousness personified. It is the upadhi, the matter vesture, Gurudeva's favorite word, which is dirty. Just clean it up and we will get where we are. Sadhurev samantavyaha samyag vyavasito hi saha. Again, Bhagwan Krishna on one hand has given a lollipop. So Durachar also, don't worry, please come. Everybody is happy. I am a sinful man. And now the Lord has told me that mine will be done. No problem. Thank you so much. But before you finish your thank you, Lord puts two conditions. One, bhajate mam ananya bhak. One. And second, samyag vyavasito hi saha. Vyavasita. Resolve. Why? Buddhi's another name is Adhyavyavasayitmaka. Buddhyaha Adhyavyavasayitmakaha, meaning that part of the Antakarana which is concerned with resolve. Nischayatmaka vrittihi buddhihi. Resolve. And that is why Tukaram Maharaj says, Tuka nischyache bala, tuka mane hechi phala. It is the resolve. So the one, and what kind of result? Samyaka. Samyak means the way it should be, right. Right resolve. Between the Shreyas and the prayers, right resolve. Viveka. Shuddha Viveka. So the one who has Samyaga Vyavasaito, that is right resolve, and one who is Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak, he, even if he is Suduracharo, Sadhu eva mantavya. Because Ananya Bhag, with a reference to Viveka Chudamani, Shlok 31, Moksha Karana Samagram Bhaktireva Gariyasi. Bhakti is considered superior even to Jnana. Sahu Purusharthanche Siri Bhakti, Jnanadev Maharaj says. Why? Swaswarupa Anusandhanam Bhakti Riti Abhidiyate. The very definition of Bhakti is Swaswarupa Anusandhana. When you become Atmanurupa, when you become one with the Atman, meaning through the art of meditation, Upasana. Who will do Upasana? The one who has Chitta Shuddhi. Who will do Chitta Shuddhi? One who gets rid of all the ills in the brain, in the Buddhi. The one whose Achara, Vichara, Vihar has so purified his intellect, such an intellect automatically, even against the wishes and the wills, moves towards the Upasana. Very birth, after in the 6th, 7th year itself, the person starts getting devotion in his mind because of the past birth samskar. And once that happens, then Swaswarupa Anusandhanam happens. That is why Ratnakar has done lot of dacoities. And we feel good in listening that Ratnakar did so many dacoities. And again, you see, he became Valmiki. Nobody realizes that the devotion with which he did the dacoities, 1,000 times more than that he applied the devotion to say Ram Ram. If he had conviction to say Mara Mara, he had 1,000 times more conviction to say Rama Rama. In fact, Valmiki Rishi, it is said that he was so much resolved in saying Ram that the ants crawled upon his body and the ants' nest was created around him. Ajamela story is another favorite story we like. We feel that like Ajamela also. All I have to do is, moment I am going to die, I am going to come out with a secret weapon and I will say Ram and I will go. And that's it. Bhagavan has already told me, sir, no way Ram will come to the mouth at the time of passing. As a medical person, we have all seen deaths from a very close quarter. I have not seen any one of them saying Ram while going. They have died in front of me. Why? Because the consciousness is slowly getting lost at the time of your last breath, and what comes to your mind that time, because the speech is gone, the mind, the last moment, the mind is full of the samskaras that you have. The trapping of vasanas have already got hold of you. One of those vasanas are whirling around at the time when you are quitting this particular earth. बहुत सुकृतांची जोडी म्हणून विठ्ठली आवडी. It is not easy to get Vittala's name even when you are alive. Forget about at the time of death, unless Rama 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 has been always the story throughout the life. Then at the end there is a possibility. But one who is righteous, resolved, for him Kshipram Bhavati. Kshipram and Achirat, both are Sanskrit words. Kshipram, instantaneously. Achirat, erlong. That means, has the person come? We say, he's coming. Aa raha hai. Erlong. Has the person come? Ye kya, idhar hi hai. He is there. Kshipram, Achirat. The one who has started sadhana, Achirat. One who is cooking the rice, 2 मिनट में बन जाएगा. बन रहा है. चावल बन गया. बन गया. It's still cooking. Achirat. Rice is ready. Kshipra. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachanti nigacchati. Parashanti. And Gurudev has given the definition of Shanti in this is the maximum way in English about peace can be written. No philosopher in my reading in Western philosophy has ever come closer to the way Gurudev has described peace here. Because he's trying to define Parashanti. Our Shanti is a gap between two chaotic incidences. A tiger is chasing a man and he's running, and sometimes then he's hiding in the bush thinking that perhaps tiger is not seeing me. That is not Shanti. It is a gap between the chase between tiger and the man. Likewise, for us, constant commotion, stress, distress, desire, sorrow, constantly we are with them. And then amongst that we say that ek cup chai pi lete shanti se. It is but a temporary gap thought by us, which is not even a gap. That's why Gurudev says that place where nothing disturbs, nothing perturbs, that state of mind, nigajjati. And the best part is, Kaunteya, O the son of Kunti, pratijanihi, as Pradeepji rightly pointed out, Madhyam Purusha. Prati, upasarga, janihi, jnya, dhatu is nya, to know. Janihi, prati jane, I promise. Prati jane in Sanskrit is I promise. Prati janihi, promise them. Declare them, promise them. And what do you declare? Only when you're sure about everything. I have got a diamond in my hand. Now, pratijanihi, tell everyone that I have got a diamond in my hand. This is called a surety of the knowledge that the Jivan Mukta has received. Like a Sufi puts it in a beautiful manner. Ishq ka jarf azma to jara. Tu nazar se nazar mila to jara. दिल को तस्की ना हो तो मैं जामिन तू मैकदे में आ तो जरा मैं जामिन I am the guarantor. So go and declare. Who is telling? Lord himself is telling to Arjuna, thy is done. When Tapovan Maharaj with his grace Gurudeva reached the stage, then what did Shivananda Maharaj say? Go roar like a lion. Look at the letter written by Swami Shivananda. Roar like a lion. Yes, because lion was made. Lion was born. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. Go and declare what? Lord's devotee can never be destroyed. By what? By anything. As Gurudeva says, at the smoke of the barrel of the gun or the crucifixion of Jesus. The Lord's Bhakta will never die. Throw the Prahlada into the boiling oil. Mata Holika will come and rescue. The one who is not aware of the Upadhi, you can do everything to the Upadhi, you cannot do anything to the consciousness. All the penalties, all the crucifixions, all the tortures are executed on Deha. And these people, bhaktas, are not dehadhari. Dehadhare ka dand hai, lekin dehadhari hai hi nahi. There is no body. Because merging with consciousness, always being merged in consciousness, that is why such a painful cancer of larynx that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had. He had samadhi during that period. Not even aware of the body. Where is the question of awareness of the pain of the cancer? That is why Name bhaktaha pranashyati. None of your devotees shall ever be destroyed. O Kaunteya, go and pratijani, he declare. What a fantastic assurance by the Lord. Hari Om.